Lesson 2, the boiling point. Here is what we're going to cover, defining what anxiety is, how we can find ourselves stuck in the state of anxiety, the creator of chaos, how to see clearly in chaos, and how to start controlling your anxiety. So in this section, we're going to cover the enemy within. Anxiety is a natural emotion. Anxiety is a natural function to alert us to potential threats. In the right situation, it can stimulate you and spur you into action.
So this is a big misunderstanding because especially for someone who suffers from anxiety, we think that anxiety is a negative thing. But I remember you told me about the mother and the child. Can you explain about that?
So when a mother saw a child run across the road, anxiety will kick in and she'd rush across to try to grab the child to stop the child from getting hit by the car. So anxiety can be a good thing too. This is the concept we would like to share with you, and we call this the enemy within. Like anything in the body, when it turns against you, that's the issue. In your human system, there's good and bad. Good bacteria, bad bacteria. Good cells, bad cells. Anxiety is hard to understand as it's an emotion that manifests into physical symptoms.
Yeah, so from like what we said earlier, you may think, well, if this is such a normal thing, a part of my natural defense system, why is it so bad? It shouldn't be going against me. So that's what we're really saying here is when it turns against you, that's when the issue comes. And in society, we have a very limited understanding of emotions in general. Our emotional intelligence isn't very high. And then secondly, mental health issues, because they're invisible things that you can't see. But the same with emotions and mental health issues is that they manifest into physical symptoms. And you might find yourself shaking, your voice trembling, your heart start beating, your hair's raising, and it becomes a really horrible thing.
So when you get stuck in a state of anxiety, this is when it becomes a problem. It becomes an issue when anxiety is triggering when there's no real threat, firing off and affecting your day.
So I remember in my situation, before I went through the anxiety answer, I would be in the cinema and I'd be watching a movie with my girlfriend, and suddenly I'd say to her, come on, let's go. We need to go. And she's like, why do we need to go? We're watching this movie. I said, no, we need to go. Because I felt like someone was going to bomb the cinema. And it's very irrational, but that's how anxiety can feel. It can feel like the worst things are going to happen to you despite not having any rational reason to do so. And that's really when you're in the problem. You're stuck in that state, and it could be even when you're just like shopping in a mall and you feel like that.
This is when the problems start. As it starts, what we like to call the enemy within, an invisible enemy within you. Every time you try to do something, your anxiety is pulling you back. Your day is filled with a constant battle against yourself. Your body reacts and you become frozen. Any sense of calm you had was a distant memory.
Yeah, and that sucks. But it's good to be aware of this enemy, because this is the enemy that we're going to convince to become our friend, And at the moment, if you're stuck in this anxiety, as Austin said, is that you're going to feel like every day is a battle. You try to do a simple thing like doing the dishes or go shopping, but you feel like there's this invisible force holding you back. And that is the enemy within.
So how does this happen? How could a good emotion turn against us? Surely, a good emotion and natural function should play its role. You may feel, why would it turn against us? I was normal. And then suddenly, this anxiety come up of nowhere.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like that. They just feel like this is something that just happens. I was fine and I've always been healthy, and now I'm in anxiety.
In nature, this is cause and effect. It's common to think that anxiety or health issues just come out of nowhere. But just in nature, there's a transition. Night just does not turn into day just like that, and day does not turn into night. Suddenly, it's a build-up of light or lack thereof.
Yeah, and we are like in a instant gratification society where we click, we get, we turn on the light comes on. We turn off the light, it just comes off. We don't see the electric going into the circuit. So that's why we have lost sense of this natural thinking, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Do you want to explain how we're like very out of touch with nature?
So we want to achieve our goal on the spot. For example, instead of going through the process, we want to achieve from A to Z instead of A, B, C, D. We don't take our time and we never go through the process.
Yeah, and so that's in the context of achieving a goal, but it's also in the context of things that happen. So anything that gets created, be it anxiety or your goal or a product, there is a process, like Austin said, and it doesn't just come just like that. Nothing just like appears out of nowhere.
So we are constantly going against nature, which we've been taught to conquer nature and conquer our body. Face challenges, go for it, push for it. And the more we go, and the more we're going to push. There is a limit what our body and mind can do, despite being told that there are no limits.
And this is something that you get a little bit irritated with when you watch all this YouTube and see a lot of the messages out there, right? Because as a natural health practitioner and expert, this is not against your philosophy.
That's right, yeah. Because everyone saying that you can do everything instantly, but in reality, everything takes time, and it's a process to achieve your goal.
And how do you feel when they're suggesting you to like push and go for it when you're not well?
So if you're not well, I wouldn't suggest people to push for it. So if you're not well, it's better not to push yourself. People do not understand that the body has a limit. So if your body is not in good shape, you should rest your body and you shouldn't push yourself. If you do that, it will cause more harm than good. The reason that I can see that all these people are just trying to push the products or push their way or try to sell products to you. I can also give you probably false information or false hopes to the people.
And yeah, typically they haven't really tested their stuff on at scale as well with like lots of people. And it's just something that they've learned and they're just pushing that out there without really thinking deep enough, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's what happens is and this is what happened to me. I was listening to all these influencers and gurus online, and this is before, I was influenced by Austin and the Natural Method, and that was the only content really out there. And so they would tell me to work harder, push harder, never give up. And what happens is all this stuff starts, we get all this pressure to our bodies and mind. Like you get pressure from work, you get pressure from the bills, you go home, you get pressure from your wife or your girlfriend or your husband gives you pressure. And you've been through that, right?
Yes, of course. It's not easy because you have to deal with so many things in your life, your home, your bills, you have to support everyone, you have to find money to support the family. So it's quite a lot of pressure on most people.
And then, to kind of get relaxation from this, relief from this pressure, we have an escapist society where, okay, let me go and freak out and party on the weekends, right?
That's
the
right.
Dirty dancing, disco.
Yeah. So I can say that most people are looking forward for Friday evening, where they can go out and freak out and enjoy themselves, dancing, drinking, smoking, whatever they want to do. For them, it's a release of the body because they've been under so much pressure over the week. And this is how they think that by releasing all this pressure through using dancing and smoking and drinking will help them. But this is just only a temporary relief, and it can do more harm than good to the body in the long term.
Yeah, and why? Because you feel like, wow, I feel so good. You feel very good because of the release. It's great to dance. It's great to scream. It's great to shout. It's great to watch some YouTube videos. Make sure you watch our ones. But it's about limits. And if you drink too much, like we have a tendency to go over our limits. We dance too much. We watch too much content. And that's when it starts to even cause more stress and abuse to our body and mind. So then you get double abuse. And then there's even more exciting things like bungee jumping. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not in favor of that, but everyone's different. The thing is that Everyone looking for the adrenaline rush, the rush in the body.
Adrenaline
rush.
Yeah.
Everybody looking for the adrenaline rush. So the rush in the body, they're looking for a quick fix to get all this pressure out of the body. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Just have a quick fix and you start to feel better.
Yeah, and like with the adrenaline rush, it's like you're seeking thrills. Like once in a small while is okay, you know, is okay. But it's like imagine you give an adrenaline rush to a newborn baby, they're gonna freak out.
Yes.
And ultimately, we are all like that. We're all very sensitive, and so that is really like abuse, you know. So, and then you've got stuff like where we just have some plastic surgery. I feel like, okay, my nose is too big or my eyes is not big enough, and let me just get some surgery. And just out of nowhere, you have to cut it, and you don't give yourself enough time to rest, and that's also more abuse. And then, you know, as well as not sleeping, like especially in our society now, is sleep is seen as a weak thing, and sleep is actually your biggest healing function or resting function, and over time it's just breaking down the body.
This pressure that we amass becomes stress. The pressure we accumulate, be it emotional or physical, adds stress to our bodies, and when passes our limits, reaches a boiling point. We call this the boiling point.
Yes. So when you reach that boiling point, imagine this thermometer shattering. This is when the issues come. So when you've reached the boiling point, that's when you start to accumulate what we like to call health debts.
So the boiling point will stress the body. Our stress turns into inflammation, and inflammation creates disease. This disease, stress balls, and pressure become health debts. And sometimes that left unaddressed eats away our energy. From your body that has not had enough time to recover and repair, this can be mental or physical.
Yes. So as Austin said, this once you reach the boiling point, you get the health debts. We didn't give a body and mind enough time to recover. And then that's when it starts to take away from our energy bank account. And this is not overnight, you know, as we mentioned earlier. It's like you mentioned to me about rain and how rain doesn't just come straight away.
That's right, yeah. So, I mean, the rain doesn't just come straight away. You know, it comes from the sea, water evaporate from the sun, and becomes steam, goes up to the sky, and become cloud. And then when the cloud becomes too heavy, it falls down as rains. So that's a transition. There's a process of getting rain.
Yes, and it starts, you know, Austin even said a good point, which is even before that one drop, the process is starting already. So it's like this abuse. This abuse is already accumulating here and there, here and there, here and there, and then starts at one drop, which we don't realize until it pours. And it's the same thing with fire too. It takes that one spark to an already an environment that is flammable to create a huge fire. So this is the same as your abuse. We look at it like there's that one moment, but it's been building up. And typically most people just see one event, right?
Yes, most people just see one thing at a time. So they do not see anything that is connected together. In the natural method, everything is connected together.
Yeah, so like for me, I thought, okay, everything was cool in my life until I went to see that movie. It must have been a bad movie, you know? Or it could be for some people, when you get up on stage and you start to give a speech, you feel anxious, and since that day, you've never been the same. Or you give birth and you're weakened, and then it starts from there. But it's actually not this one event. It's been building up. It's just that one event was the catalyst.
So this is quite normal. It's normal to remember the one event that you felt your anxiety more, because the trigger events create a deep feeling and emotion that you will remember forever.
And we can remember how things made us feel. And that's why we see that one event.
But the truth is that this event is a tipping point. The event is a catalyst triggering a collection of older events that create the domino effect which explodes.
Yes. So in my case, it was how I was running my life, as we explained earlier, how I was escaping from the pressures of daily life, how I had been sick and never addressed it, you know. And then that moment in the cinema of watching that movie, it just was the catalyst, but it wasn't the start.
So bad mental or physical health is a process. So this lady is doing her exercise. She looking fit and strong, but we didn't realize that she also eating unhealthy, all these fried chicken wings and all that can cause a high cholesterol, which is the arteries will be blocked. So once the artery is blocked, she don't realize that. So she started carry on doing her exercises, and then she run, and then the blood is blocked. Suddenly, it just explode. The heart just explode, and that's why she got a heart attack. So all these things doesn't happen overnight. It's happened in a process, and it's been in your body for a long time.
Yeah, so that's why a lot of people go jogging, they have heart attacks, right?
That's right, yeah.
Or you had that friend who went to do Tai Chi in the park. Can you explain that
Yeah,
story?
yeah. So I have a friend, he had a heart issues, and he believed that because I do Tai Chi every day, I would be stronger. But my advice to him was to, relax and stop doing his Tai Chi until the heart, all the cholesterol, all the blockages is clear before he can do that. But of course, he doesn't believe what I say. He keep on doing his Tai Chi in the morning, and he had a heart attack in the park. And unfortunately, he died the day after.
Yeah, so he thought he was healthy and active, just like this woman doing his Tai Chi, but he didn't account for all these accumulations and things there. So continuing this behavior while all of this is there. And it's because we don't realize about the process and the buildup of a process in our body. And so it's exactly the same with anxiety. Instead of your chicken wings, it could be alcohol or something like that, or something that you're doing.
The body and mind connection. So the body and mind is connected. So why is that connected? If the body is in good shape, then the mind will be able to connect with the body.
Yeah. And when you are a newborn, you are born with this as a given. Your body and mind is connected. As a kid, you're more sensitive. You're in tune with everything. You see a bad guy or someone that doesn't treat you well, you can feel intuitively that this person is not a good one. But what happens as you get older?
Oh, so as you grow older, you tend to see things consciously. That means you see things from the outside. So whatever you see outside, you believe it, and you forgot about what does the inside, the mind think. Therefore, there's a disconnection between the body and mind as you grow older.
And what happens is, as we explained earlier, you go out, you accumulate more things, and you get more pressure. You got pressure from your work. Your boss is saying, come on, where's this deadline? Where's the delivery? You're in a competitive environment, and you start to get the stress and pressure, and then you got to pay for the 9 kids that you made, and the 9 kids that you made also took a lot of energy.
That's right.
So you start to accumulate these health debts, which you can see here into your body. And then as time goes on, that threatens the connection between your body and mind. And you accumulate them in your mind, mental pressure, more in your body, and the connection starts to wither. As you can see here, it's starting to fade, And you just, because we are creatures of habit, it just continues over time. It could be weeks, months, years. And we say, no, we're fine, we're perfectly healthy, more time, until it's just full. We reach the limit and you're in chaos. And what happens then?
So you break down.
Yeah.
Anxiety hit the boiling point.
Yeah. So you had lots of mini boiling points and it became one huge boiling point, and that's when you're in chaos. Now, the enemy within is there, and every day you have that invisible hand pulling you back, and the body and mind connection is severed. And that's how it feels like. You say there's a lot of fog,
yeah.
right?
So, so you will see nothing is clear in front of you, because it's like everything is so unclear. How can you see clearly? And how can you solve your problem?
Yeah, your emotions are out of sync, your worries, you feel your energy, you wake up, you feel tired, everything is a complete mess.
In this section, we're going to cover diving into the deep end. First, as a concept of creating chaos. Once you're in a cycle of chaos, it's very difficult to break. It takes a great deal of support because the body and mind connection is broken and you will feel like you have no energy.
And that's really why you're in this course, and you've signed up for Austin and the team to help you, because when you've reached that point, you're in chaos. Oh, it's tough, you know. No pill or no exercise regime is enough. You're not going to have any willpower.
The bad habits that lead you to chaos are embedded deep within your subconscious. That means that the behaviors that create chaos and reinforce it are still there, are accumulating pressure and health debts.
And, you know, because this has been going on for years, and these are all habits, and habits are formed in your subconscious. So now there's a clash between your conscious and your subconscious, which is where you want to get better, but your habits are ingrained so deeply that they are used to abusing you and accumulating more pressure. And so you can never escape that cycle.
This is a vicious cycle. This is why they say that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Or you can take the man out of the ghetto, but not the ghetto out of the man. Luckily for you, you have the anxiety answer, so this does not apply.
Yeah, and that's what you used to say to me as a reminder. When I was reinforcing those bad habits, you always say, Joe, you can take the man out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the man. And that really stuck with me. And this is actually, you know, the concept of reinforced chaos.
So the body and mind connection is deeply misunderstood. The internet is littered with conflicting advice, misinformation, and quick fix, all engineered for short-term profits and not long-term results. For anything to work sustainably, it has to be a long-term oriented. That's take time and effort.
Yeah, and that's likely why, you know, like me, I tried so many different things. I tried meditation, I tried these apps, I tried essential oils, everything. But why is the problem still coming back? It's because, you know, those things take 5 minutes, and it's not going to fix something that has creeped up on you for years.
So self-help is littered with like self-proclaimed advice. The people giving advice have not been through the process themselves and face and overcome the challenges. You have business gurus giving health advice. Health is taken on a word of mouth basis on forums and groups.
Yeah, and that's really kind of silly because we just listen to our friends and we trust our friends, which is good, but they're not health professionals. And so to say, oh yeah, I tried this thing and it completely fixed my issue, which is good to give you a kind of signal, but it's very unlikely that a quick fix like that is going to solve this deep issue. And then, like, I used to listen to business gurus when I was starting my company, and they would, you know, spin out some health advice, and they would be like, yeah, you have to jump straight into the deepest part of the ocean and never give up. And I don't burn out. My energy is unlimited. I'm not a candle. But that is completely incorrect. And they're not actually health professionals. And we should only listen to them in the context of business.
This is what we call the conquering mindset. People advise you to face your fear. Don't be a wimp. Mental health is looked like as a weakness. In our competitive society, we are not given a chance to be 100% and a winner.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that really got to me, because a lot of this advice that I was listening to, it conflicted with what Austin was saying to me. And everything is like mostly never give up, keep on pushing, da, 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 da. But this is all based on athleticism and competition. But when you are in chaos, you are unwell, and it doesn't apply to you. And do you have anything to add to that?
Well, you have to first of all remove your competition mindset, and then start from scratch and follow the system step by step. And most important thing, just be a patient.
And you know, I remember you always used to bring up, you saw the video with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's right. Yeah, he tell you to eat faster, talk faster, sleep faster. So you have 24 hours a day. So while you're sleeping 8 hours, you should sleep 2 hours. You gotta When you go for lunch, it's an hour. Why are you eating an hour? Take 10 minutes. Unfortunately, that was advice given. He's a famous guy. There was advice given to everyone, and everyone believed in that. That's fine if you're in the top level, but even though you're in the top level, you're still a human being. Your body needs to rest. You can't eat that fast. You can't sleep that fast. You know, you need about 7 to 8 hours to sleep for every human being. So it's important to understand yourself first before you listen to all this so-called expert advice.
Yeah, and a lot of people look up to Arnold, and he's a great actor and has done some great things. But it's really about context. Like, he's not a health expert. He's in fitness, and he actually had a heart attack. So if you know, for us, you always told me you need to listen to the people that have achieved something and be a good role model. And in this situation, if I listen to Arnold, my role model is having a heart attack. I don't want a heart attack, you know? So it's context is really important. And especially in, you always used to say, they made it in their time when there wasn't a lot of competition.
That's right, yeah. Because now in the time of internet, we're actually truly in the global world. So many new ideas that never been shown in the 70s and 80s. It's only a few people, a few ideas are out. Now it's a global ideas. So we need to look at it. Maybe it's right for us or maybe it's wrong for us. But the point is that it's important for us to find all different ways and find a way that is good for us. So since we have been through the process of the health, so we know how to tailor the program to each individual need.
Yeah. And also, like, just to use this example of Arnold, is everything Arnold achieved in terms of fitness, he really did individually. So he was an individual competitor. But if you ever want to achieve anything huge in life, you always need a lot of people and help to achieve that. So there's always a limit to what you individually can do. So every great innovation, let's say like Tesla or SpaceX, Apple, is done by thousands and thousands of people. So you can have one guy who's super strong and pushes to the limit, but if the collective is not good, then nothing will happen. So pushing yourself to this super high limit at a point and abusing yourself is not really smart.
That's right, yeah. So you need a team. That's why we're here to work with you. And this is part of our family.
Yes. And then the other things are like, you know, you're feeling down, you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this thing. And then you listen to motivational things to keep you pumping. And they're like, never give up. You feel the pain. I start when I feel the pain. I keep on going. And that's when I start. And, you know, this is where you get confused, because this applies to athletes, people who are healthy and have been training for years, like Usain Bolt, many, many years, and he can reach that point, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But if you get a beginner to think like that, they're never going to be able to do that, let alone someone with anxiety and chaos, with health issues, who's unwell. So it's about really recognizing where do we stand and what is our current condition, and then taking the right advice for the right point. And we're not saying that you're never going to be better. You are. If you follow everything to the last letter, you will. But at this moment, you need to choose the right solution and advice for you. And then once you're better, then some of this stuff will apply to you.
That's right.
And, you know, why are all these messages everywhere?
Well, the last 200 years, we want to conquer the world. So why do you want to conquer the world? Because we humans believe that we are the most advanced thinking, the cleverest living thing on earth. But that's just why we have this concept of we need to conquer nature. We need to build, you know, special places in difficult condition in nature. But conquering, okay, when you want to build something with nature and it can work with nature. In other words, if you build a place for human to live, then we connect with nature. That means with trees and all that around it. And maybe there's a good chance that you can connect with nature.
So you mean like doing stuff with nature in consideration?
That's right.
Harmony with nature. And you can see this is really in our movies and in our books. Is we want to put our flag on the moon and capture this territory, or you know, we want to speed read as fast as the next person and be faster and, you know, like a computer. And even like Richard Branson, like if you go to Necker Island, he invites lots of entrepreneurs every year, and they had the little thing, who can swim to the other island and back. And it's like, oh my, and they see it as an amazing thing. But it's like, if you're not a trained swimmer, you could drown, right? And like, that's exhausting. It's very dangerous. And there might be a short thrill, but is it worth it? So this is what we see. Wow, that person's so amazing. They never gave up there. But what does that really mean in terms of life? You know, what does it mean? What does that really achieve for society and yourself? So this is why we've gone to extreme.
That's right. Yeah.
Science and technology is amazing, and we use it too, but it has to be used appropriately. But we've gone too much to the extreme when everything is conquer this, science is. We've kind of lost sense of what it means to be a human and feel our bodies, right?
So this is not sustainable, and we will keep reaching the boiling point.
And the cycle continues, and you can never escape this chaos. So I remember you telling me about the concept of the broken chair.
So when the chair is broken into one piece like this one, and you still sit on it, what happened? It will break into more pieces.
That's what, if we take this chair as a metaphor for your body and mind connection, and it's already in chaos, and then you go out and you try to conquer something again, or you try to be normal and just do what everybody else is doing, what's going to happen?
So you're going to break down again.
So I remember you told me, what do we need to do first?
So first of all, we need to repair the chair first.
And that's what we have this concept, it's called hitting the emergency button.
So we need to let go of all the pressure. As human, we are only good at accumulating things, but accumulating with stress, doing more, output, but letting go is difficult, it's very hard.
Yeah, and it's very common in society. We want a nicer house, we want a nicer car, we want more money, we want more things, and you know, we're consumers, right?
That's right.
So from the day you were born, you were a consumer. You drink, you eat, you more.
Yes. To avoid the boiling point, we will need to let go of pressure. By letting go of pressure, we will make sure that the boiling point is not reached. Not adding more stress and anxiety, and not breaking the pressure affecting between body and mind.
Yeah. So as it starts to build up, the pressure, instead of getting to that point, as Austin said, we just bring it down. And that, you know, you still got all the breakdown and the chaos, but it's not going to give you more chaos. And this is really the first step to, you know, repairing your chair.
To get rid of the pressure, we will need to use what we call an emotional release technique.
Yeah, and that's how you're going to reduce it. So Austin's going to show you now.
I hope you feel better.
So that looks a little bit strange, and the concept of an emotional release technique isn't very common. So you're going to explain to them, how does it work?
Like sighing, shouting, and screaming, your body will get rid of all this pressure inside your body. Also punching a bag, stress ball, and even talking. This will help you to release all this emotional out of your body. These are some of your body's natural mechanisms, but they all have a limit. And when you are in chaos, you want to spend little energy and get the maximum release without damage to your body and mind. Your emotional release also needs to be conscious, so you can control when you want to release.
Yeah, so it's like, if you start shouting and screaming because it feels too much, you're not really in control of that. And also, it says it causes damage to your body.
That's right.
Can you explain about that when you shout?
So when you shout, you're over done your voice cord. You might damage it. You might even hurt your lungs and even your heart, because certain rush of blood,
Yeah, I remember you explained to me about your friend. He was angry. He slammed his on the table, right?
Yeah. So it happened to my friend who had an argument with another person, and he was so stressed and anxious that he slammed so hard on the table that the pressure just went into the heart, and unfortunately he died on the spot.
Yeah. So he was trying to release his pressure.
That's right.
God bless him. But it's there's a consequence.
Everything is a consequence.
Yeah, and if you got these health debts, you want to do it in the most natural way as possible. And what about like punching a bag and stressful?
So it's punching a bag is physical release. So
What does that mean?
Physical release, that means your muscles. It's also part of the release, but just punching the bag alone is still not enough. You need to have the emotional release at the same time.
Yeah.
So we have the physical release and the emotional release.
Yeah. And then sometimes when you talk to someone, you feel much better. Like you talk to your uncle, you talk to your auntie, you talk to Austin. Oh, I feel so much better. These are all forms, but there's not many people going to listen, you know, and people are busy. And also it requires so much energy.
Okay. Now I'm going to show you how to do it in a natural way that doesn't harm your body. Let's do it together. Both hands in this position and shake it forward and backward. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now in this position and shake it up and down. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Hold it for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And drop your hands down. Hands in this position again. Take a deep breath into your nose and shout out with a he sound. He 1, he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he 1, he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he 1, he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he. This time a bit longer with the he sound. Breathe in. He 2, he 3, he. Breathe into your nose and he 4, he 5, he 1, he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he. So we're going to go a bit longer now. Take a deep breath and he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he 1, he 2, he 3, he 4, he 5, he. This time I want you to go for it and follow me as long as you can. Take a deep breath into your nose and really go for it. One more time. Take a deep breath and go for it. Place the right hand on your chest where your heart is. Left hand on top. Close your eyes. Breathe into your nose. And breathe out through your nose. 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Breathe in. Breathe out 2. Breathe in. Breathe out 3. Breathe in. Breathe out 4. Breathe in. Breathe out 5. Breathe in again. Breathe out. 1, into your nose and out through your nose. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2. Breathe in. Breathe out. 3. Breathe in. Breathe out. 4. Breathe in. Breathe out. 5. Hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently open your eyes. Drop your hands down. I hope you feel better. You're probably wondering how it works. So when we shake our hand, the body also shake at the same time. This will relax the muscles. When the muscles relax, the blood will start to flow around the body naturally. So once there's an increase of blood flow around the body, it will calm the body down.
Yeah, so all the proteins in the blood will start to repair all the inflammation from the stress. And this already has a very healing or recovering effect to your body, that action alone.
So sound is connected to emotions. So that's why we use the he sound. That's why when we practice the he sound daily, it will slowly get rid of your anxiety bit by bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a baby. It's like a baby can't talk, but they communicate with you in sounds. So using the right sounds, the vibration, it is telling the body to go to the frequency of emotions and to start letting out, open up the gates to release the emotions. So it's very similar to crying.
So once the body is calm and your emotion is calm, they both are in sync. So when they are in sync, what we call body and mind connection. When body and mind is connected, you will be calm.
Yeah, so at this point, you're really trying to stimulate the body and mind connection, because it's like trying to like create a spark, because you're in so much chaos. So when you do the exercise, you have to be very intentional. Like you used to always say to me, when you do it, you have to feel this is making you better.
That's right, yeah.
Right? This is going to make me live longer. So as I would get up and do it, I would really put everything I have into it and feel all my sadness and feel I'm going to get better, and really make the sound very loudly, like I'm letting it go, you know?
Yes, you need to do it with your heart and soul. Then the mind will understand, will really realize that you really want to get rid of your stress and your anxiety.
Yeah, because you also say to me that the body and mind is not silly. You can't cheat it,
You
right?
can't cheat them, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're really doing it and you're just going through the motions, it's not going to work.
No.
So how many times does it need to be practiced?
So this to be practiced twice a day, daily. Whenever you feel that you are getting stressed or reach a boiling point, you can use it on a needs to be basic. As you are in deficit of health debts, it will need to be done daily until you have reached your state of calm.
Yeah, so that's why we say do it twice a day, because this will start to reduce any backlog of pressure you've accumulated. And then you can use it also as and when. So like typically if we have a pain, we take a painkiller. But so you can use this exercises when I'm feeling anxious, stressed, or like foggy, even more chaotic, I get up and I do it. And even now, like sometimes when, you know, we're dealing with so many responsibilities and I feel a little bit under pressure, I just get up and I release it out so I can calm down and focus back on the work. So yeah, so as we said, is, you know, at the moment you're in a state of chaos, but when you start to be intentional, use the natural emotional release techniques, is telling your body and mind connection.
Yes. This is to tell the body and mind to wake up and I'm ready to connect.
So I remember you used to tell me about the art of war, and there's a quote, right?
Yes, if you know yourself and know your enemy, you go through 100 battles without danger.
Yeah, and that's from Sun Tzu, who wrote The Art of War. And this journey with the anxiety answer is really like a war with the enemy within. And first, we need to know about ourselves, which is what we discussed earlier, which is that we are unwell and we have to act accordingly. And then the second thing is better understanding this enemy within. And then you can go through 100 different scenarios and your life without any issues. Yeah. And this will be a journey, and this understanding will improve bit by bit.
That's right.